Hey there, Paul here. Today we're going to talk about how if you're over the age of 45, you have an absolute distinct advantage in this marketplace. I'm going to give you a couple reasons why that's the facts and the reality and great news for us in that cohort. And most importantly, what we can do about it, because action is the key, right? Good ideas are a dime a dozen. Where the rubber meets the road is with implementation. And if your goal is to make $25,000 a month in recurring income, offering AI and automation services to small and medium-sized businesses, then lean in, because this video, I think, is going to be some pretty good news for you. So, first order business. When you look at AI, you might think it's a young person's game. Nothing could be further from the truth, and here's why. Anytime there's new technology, there's a season of massive disruption. There's the early adopters, there's the companies that come online, and there's the more mature companies that see what the new companies are doing and they copy them, they replicate them, they bump them off. And it's this churning marketplace and ecosystem where what was in place yesterday is just not in place tomorrow. So what we want to do, because we've seen these different cycles before, right? We have a perspective that is, it's really money in the bank, right? It's, you can't buy the perspective that we have, and just seeing that things have, shifted and there's been these cycles. So what that allows us to do is kind of sit back with a little bit more wisdom than your average bear and be able to kind of what we call see the field, right? So we can see, okay, hey, things are changing, right? What worked yesterday isn't going to work tomorrow. Number two, it allows us then to be able to utilize what is called first principles thinking. And first principles thinking is really important, especially when it comes to making money and generating wealth, because you have to be able to adjust the strategy and the tool for the time. Meaning, if you approach everything with a hammer, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunity. Okay, you need a screwdriver, you need a drill, right? You need a tape measure, you need some paint. And so when we can see the field, then we can utilize first principle thinking, and that is asking and answering this question. Knowing what I know today, what would I do different? And I first learned about this when I was studying Elon Musk and how he determined that he wanted to move forward with Tesla. At the time, the limiting factor or the bottleneck for electric cars was the battery. At the time, it cost about $600 to create a battery, to manufacture batteries. So what he did is he went to the British Stock Exchange and he priced out the components of a battery. He figured out what is in a battery and he broke it down into first principles. And there's some plastic, there's some lead, there's some silver, there's some acid, right? And so he priced this out and he found out that he could buy the raw materials for about $6. Once that he realized that, that's when he decided that he was going to go and move forward with that idea. So with that being said, we need to ask and answer this question as it relates to our income, our action to create income, what we're doing, the model that we're working in. And so we, number one, need to understand there's these peaks and these valleys. There's this cycling that's going to be very rapid as the market is new with AI and with new companies coming online, new companies getting acquired, existing companies adopting more AI and rolling it out into their existing tooling. Number two, we need to understand that we want to use first principles thinking. So what does that mean? Well, simply put, it means that the old days of trading time for commission is now dead. That's a foolish way to make money. Every month we reset to zero. Every year we reset to zero. Every year it's harder to prospect and lead gen if we're using old school techniques and technologies. So that means we need to shift into a recurring model of generating income. Okay, great. So then what do we want to do? Do we want to have a recurring model that we can collect $1 a month? Do we want to have a recurring model where we can collect $1 million a month? I mean, $1 million a month would be fantastic, but what do we have to deliver? What do we have to provide to have a business comfortable giving us $1 million for that? So we've got to find some medium in between these two so that it's lucrative and it's profitable. And what we suggest is shooting for $1,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 a month of recurring monthly income. That's very easy to do if you provide a business owner with more than that in value, 10 times more than that in value. So if you're able to help them recover $100,000 a month, they will happily pay $10,000 a month for that profit recovery, because does it cost them anything? No, it's putting 90K net in their pocket. So when it comes to recurring, it's a function of delivering value. If we deliver value, then we can expect to be paid. A workman is worthy of his wage, a good one is worthy of double honor. So then what can we provide to a business owner that creates that value? Well, simply put, we can bring them into the 21st century with AI and automation. That's where they're struggling. That's where it's confusing. That's where it's disruptive. And so for those of us over 45, we have a distinct advantage because we can relate more to the business owner. Think about it. If you're a business owner, and some of you are, who are you going to listen to? The young pup wet behind the ears, or somebody with a little gray who's been through a couple things? So they can relate more to the older consultant. Number two, you have life experience that you can draw upon. You've been in different roles. You've done different things. You've seen different things. You've seen different market economies and cycles. And so when you understand that the old model of trading time for commission is done, we need to bring into the new century and deploy the recurring model. And then you understand, okay, first principles thinking, recurring is better than one-off because I can work once and get paid again and again and again. Then we need to figure out, well, what do we need to deliver so that we can collect the money? And then furthermore, how do we retain the clients so that they don't churn, right? It does no good if you retain a client for 2 months and then you have to replace them. And that's a hidden cost that most sales pros and agency owners run into when it comes to AI, because they approach it wrong. They approach it as a commodity. They approach it as a chatbot or a widget or a voice agent, instead of approaching the business owner as a profit consultant that can unlock existing value. It's like a caveman discovering fire for the first time. And then when you're able to install these things and you monetize and productize an AI suite, that becomes a bolt-on, almost like a Chrome extension for the business. So the business doesn't have to learn stuff. The people working in the business don't have to learn stuff. And it just works. Now you've created a retention machine. So you've created a value engine and then a retention machine. You've created a happy customer factory, and they're more than glad to just cut that check every month. It becomes a utility bill for them. What business is going to cancel their internet or phone service? When you can deliver value into a business as it relates to recovering lost opportunity, recovering profit, making the machine run more efficiently on the existing infrastructure, that they don't have to change a lot of stuff. They don't have to learn anything, and it just works. That is massively value in the marketplace. Not only do you bump the P&L, you also reduce their stress and their uncertainty and their confusion and their uncomfortability with all these changes. That's a big piece. The psychological turmoil that a business owner and entrepreneur is going through right now, because they understand they got to do something. They know their competitors are doing something, but yet at the same time, their team is hesitant because they don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to lose their income. And so there's all this volatility in the mind and heart and soul of the business owner that you can resolve. And having some age and some miles on the vehicle is an absolute advantage. Now, where this can get you in trouble is as it relates to the technology side of it. So let's talk about that real quick. Number one, understand that all of the fulfillment and the deployment of the AI is best left to the developers, the devs, the nerds. Let them do their thing, okay? We can help with that if you want. Number two, where it will trip you up perhaps is because you don't have a familiar with maybe social media or using social media to generate appointments. That can slow people down because they think it's complicated, they think it's difficult, they think it's something they can't do or don't want to do for some reason. You gotta just overcome that little bit. And you must understand that to create recurring income, you have to have sales opportunities. You have to have people to talk to. The best way to get people to talk to is not working your network, although that works. It's not sending cold emails, although that works. It's utilizing paid media, ads into an AI-powered appointment engine to generate those appointments. And that's so important, because once that's in place, now you have a scalable framework that you can speed up or slow down. And again, using first principles thinking, an income should come in without us having to do anything eventually. So that means then you have to figure out a mechanism to extract yourself from being the bottleneck, meaning you got to be able to have somebody that can come in and do sales. So how do we do that? Well, we hire a full-time, straight commission sales professional that works now 40 hours a week, generating you recurring income. To do that, you have to have appointments for them to run. That's the sequence and the order, right? Johnny bit the dog and the dog bit Johnny. Same words, different order, completely different outcome. And furthermore, the demographic that is on paid for the business owners, they're on Facebook, absolutely 100%. Way more than TikTok, way more than all these other platforms. And because that's what they grew up with, right? So after 5, that's where they are. And so that's why we can very easily get them. Now, running ads today on Facebook, Meta, is 100 times easier than yesterday, just because their algorithm, their AI has gotten so good and so sophisticated. And it's really very simple. You just set up a couple things one time, and then the system runs and you tune it. Once the asset is set up, you can duplicate it. It's like Legos, building blocks. So you just need to get that out of the way once, and then it runs. And you don't even need to know that much. You just let the system do the heavy lifting. So if you're over 45 and you can overcome this potential hang up with leveraging social media, then you have got a very bright opportunity in front of you, because the business owner would prefer to talk to somebody like you than some young buck that they can or cannot relate to. You bring more wisdom to the relationship. You have more grounding. You're more relatable. And the last thing is, we have the ability to understand more so what's important. Like, think about younger days. Like, we're still trying to figure some stuff out. Now we're set a little bit. We understand our priorities. We understand what we're shooting for. We understand why, right? Families, spouses, kids, grandkids. We understand the importance of having a funded retirement. We understand the importance of being able to pay for college education. We understand that the market is we're entering a very volatile time, and we understand through just observation and experience the insecurity of any type of job with any type of company, and the importance of kind of owning our income. That's all strength, because that allows us to go now an inch wide, a mile deep, versus what most people do. They go a mile wide and an inch deep, and there's no success in that. That's chasing shiny objects. That's loss of traction. That's spinning tires. That's frustration. Instead, you can leverage everything that you've gotten to this point in your life, get very clear, bring massive value to the marketplace, and as a result, generate a massive income and lifestyle to go along with it, as you should. When you bring value to a business owner in the P&L, in reduction of stress, increase of peace, longevity of the business, protection of the business, that should be and can be very well rewarded. So if you're interested, we can help you with this. We have a program, and we offer an initial 15-minute call that's absolutely free for us to get a chance to know you a little bit, for you to get a chance to know us a little bit. And if that goes well, then we might invite you to talk with one of our program directors. Our program is a paid program. You get what you pay for, obviously. And if you can get started one of two ways. You can pay, or you can leverage financing, just like a college tuition, right? You can pay up front, or you can pay financing. If you use the financing angle, you're looking at about $400 a month. So what that means is your first deal of $1,000 a month, or $2,000 or $3,000 a month, more than covers any financing charge. So the business becomes self-liquidating. And then again, you stack it from there. And that doesn't mention that we charge setup fees, 5 to 10K setup. And then on top of that, 1 to 3 to 5 to 10K a month recurring. So if you're interested, book a call with us. There should be a link underneath this video somewhere. We'll visit. It's pretty hang loose, and we'll see if it's a fit. We'll talk a little bit about what you've been doing. We'll share a little bit about what we do, how we approach it. And I encourage you, if this resonates at all, that would be a really good next move. And again, there's no obligation one way or the other, not from us to extend a slot to you or you to feel obligated to move forward. If you do, great. If you don't, great. No big deal. What we do is we leverage sales professionals and agency owners' inherent ability to communicate, and they leverage our offers, our frameworks, and our ability to fulfill. And it's kind of a marriage made in heaven because everybody can stay in their lanes and double down on what they've already been doing to make very good income and, most importantly, deliver amazing value to the marketplace. Okay. So if that's you, go ahead, book a call, and we'll talk soon. All right. Have a blessed day.